Welcome to Marketing for Your Boring Business, presented by All-in-One Social Media, where marketing professionals and industry leaders discuss what you can do to help your message get seen in a cluttered newsfeed. Join us each week to learn more about social media, online marketing, trending topics, and tips to grow your online marketing efforts. Now here's your host, Desiree Martinez.
Welcome to another episode of Marketing for Your Boring Business. Today we're talking about something that's very important and near and dear to my heart, which is telling your story through images for your business. Today we have Crystal Hollman on the line, and she's a portrait and lifestyle photographer specializing in creative business portraits and styled stock photography for their business. She works with business owners to create the images that match their brand and style at a price that fits their budget. When she's not shooting the next up-and-coming entrepreneur or standing over props for a stylized session, she usually can find her spending time with her 2 little kids and her husband. Thank you so much for being on the show today, Crystal. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Hi, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
It's nice to be here.
Yeah, Crystal and I actually go back in a really funny way. 2 of our friends were getting married, and we all ended up having the same due date after that wedding, which is always pretty funny to me. So we have a very interesting baby bump, I guess, sort of story that brought us together. But along the way, we have grown as entrepreneurial women together, and now she just makes the most amazing photos. She did the best pictures of my son for his 3-year-old birthday, and he was being super uncooperative, so I really commend her for that.
Thank you. Yeah, we do have a pretty unique story that's brought us together, which is funny. God, I can't believe it's been that long that we've both watched both of our kids, and we now have moved on to our second kid and our growing businesses.
Right? It's amazing how people grow in interesting circumstances. So why don't we just kind of dive in and talk about what it is for a business to tell their story through their images.
So I would say businesses, it's extremely important to be able to tell your story through your images. I was looking at some brain roll sources the other day, and when people hear information, they're likely to remember about 10% of that information 3 days later. However, if it's a relevant image that is paired with that same information and content that they're trying to put out there, people retained it 65% more 3 days later, which is pretty impressive. So for me and my business, to coach and help support business owners realize, how they can use images in their business to really get their message across. So it's extremely important. Helping them tell their story is a big thing, because people want to know more than just your business. They want to know about you. They want to know what you're doing in your business and how you're growing things, and want to be able to relate to you. So really taking an opportunity to kind of tell your story through your images and being able to use that consistently through your brand really helps you radiate with your audience.
Yes, no, and I think that it's super important. I know recently I was fortunate enough to get to do a lifestyle shoot for my business, and I loved how it came out, because we just got to be super goofy and just have a lot of fun. And you guys, if you spend any amount of time on anything about my brand, I'm just a super big dork. So being able to tell that story through your photos, like being able to look at a photo and just know that essence of that person and that business, I think is super important for the story of their business.
Yeah, definitely. I love to make it fun for my business owners as well. I mean, you gotta bring out a little bit of your personality and yourself through that, and through your brand. Because again, people want to know who you are, not just your business.
So what are some kind of things that people want to tell through their images of the story? Like, what are some examples for maybe some of our boring businesses? Like, how can they tell their story through their photos?
So I would say, maybe it's a dentist office. Maybe this particular dentist focuses on family dentistry and is trying to reach those families and that audience. And for them, kind of telling that story and telling their story, and they've got this great office. They're wanting to provide comfort. They're wanting to provide fun, because the kids are going to want to go to a fun place that they feel like they can be relaxed and comfortable throughout. being at the dentist, because not everyone wants to have someone in their teeth, and that's understandable, especially when they're younger. So, maybe they're wanting to reach out to those families and let those families know that they've got this fun and inviting staff that, is really good with kids, and they've designed their office to tailor to the families, making sure that kids can see it as a fun experience instead of something that is scary. So going through and showing fun and inviting photos of the team interacting with families. My recommendation would be to kind of set up a little shoot and invite one of their good clients into the office to kind of be a part of that, so that we can capture that interaction and how the kids are having fun in the office and interacting with each of the team members, and how the parents are then supported through the process of insurance and payments and things like that, and just kind of getting an opportunity to display that whole office. So it's about kind of finding what makes the company unique and what makes them fun and appealing to their audience, and really making sure that you hone in on that in those photos. So when you see those images, you can immediately go, oh, that's a fun office. And, oh, look at all the cute paintings and stuff they've got on the wall. And they've even got a kids section. So, when your kid decides that they don't want to pay attention, or they don't, want to sit still, that they've got a moment, they can go over into this little space and kind of blow off some steam and play with some of the toys and kind of relax for a moment before having to go back and see the dentist because they're kind of wound up about it. So being able to kind of show those things through the images would be, one good way for a dentist office in this case to be able to kind of show their brand, their personality, and really get across to their audience right away with just an image what it is that they're trying to do for them.
What about for businesses that don't really have like a physical location, or they're just not very, product or location based? Like someone maybe who's like an insurance agent, or like a personal injury lawyer, where the stories actually are kind of negative. Like it's usually someone's at a lawyer's office, something's wrong, or something like that. So when you have a business, or like how my business doesn't really have anything tangible. Like all of my stock photos are of me using technology, or smiling at a camera. So what do you recommend for people to tell their story for that kind of a service or business?
So in that case, if they don't have like a brick and mortar type situation, or maybe they don't have a particular product, but they're just more service based, I recommend all kinds of options depending on what they're trying to do with their brand and who they're trying to target. But for example, there are a lot of co-op working spaces now. It's become a really popular thing all over the US and abroad to have kind of co-op working spaces. So for instance, I had a client who was an attorney. She actually just operated out of her home office, and she wanted some brand photos that she could use to kind of target families because she helps them with like estate planning. And she didn't really have a tangible product, and she didn't have an actual physical location. So we went to a co-op place and we rented a co-op office for like 2 hours, and it had a cute little setup already in there. And we brought in some personal items for her to kind of set it up as her own office and kind of display the way things she wanted them to be. So we brought in some estate planning books and some flowers and some things that, kind of dress up the space and really make it hers, make it friendly and inviting like she would like for it to be for those families, and still be able to use a space that we could capture some fun photos of her kind of working on her laptop. And then she had a volunteer that came in and sat across from her, and she kind of, did a story image of, going through the estate planning book and kind of going over the important details and kind of smiling and, kind of reassuring to the client to really kind of help her get across, again, that friendly, helpful type vibe and have that kind of open door type feel. So we created an office space for her. And I've done similar things for other businesses where there was a CPA I worked with, and she actually met most of her clients at a coffee shop. And that was just her approach. She wanted people to feel a little bit more casual and relaxed, because as business owners, a lot of people were stressed out. And so she wanted to, really relate to them and be able to kind of meet with them in these fun coffee shop locations all over the place. And so we picked one of those fun locations And a lot of times the management's okay with it, but we did, double check, and we kind of set up in a little corner by a nice, pretty well lit window, and just had her kind of set up her stuff like she normally does, and had her laptop out, had her kind of laughing, enjoying herself, bringing out a bit of her personality, and kind of giving that casual, relaxed feel. So don't feel like because maybe your business doesn't have a product or doesn't have a brick and mortar, maybe you work from home, or support people in a virtual capacity, doesn't mean that you can't go to other locations or think of fun places like that that are still relatable to your business, to be able to get the images that you would like to have and achieve that look.
So why do you think it is so important nowadays for people to have their own photos to tell their story versus relying on, in the past, or even still currently, but relying on stock photography, like where you go and buy your images versus having your own?
Right. So this is one of the topics that's like close to my heart, because I'm always about wanting my clients to be able to have photos that are to their brand. People are bored. People are really bored with the old traditional stock photos. Not to mention, how funny is it to get on someone's website and see, you go onto my website and you see like this cute blonde girl who's holding, a camera and everything. And while that's fantastic, and I'm sure she's gorgeous, she's not me. So people are probably a little confused and turned off by that fact, or just the fact that stock photos are meant to be universal. So a lot of times they can be very boring, and that they're very simple, very plain. The colors are very generic or very neutral, because they make them that way to try to get them to fit everyone's brand, when in actuality, they really don't, because they kind of just stand out in their own kind of odd way. So I think it's very important to try to create images that are going to be specific to your brand, whether you're creating them on your own or you're coming to a professional like myself to help in aiding you and assisting in getting those photos, that you can have for your brand. Because people are just, they're bored. They're starting to see them everywhere, which is also kind of funny. Certain like CPA firms or, HVAC companies or, dentist offices are starting to see those same generic photos with the same, people who are dressed in the dentist doctor's coat, and they have the same team, and they're starting to see those consistencies, and they're starting to realize, and makes them feel kind of like you're not authentic in a sense, because they're just starting to see these same stock photos regurgitated through businesses because they've been around for so long, and they may make a good temporary stand-in, but they're not a good long-term choice.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that we live in a world now where we're so connected and we require so much human touch that we've naturally just become these untrusting people, and we can detect when things are stock photos. And it's important to make sure that we're able to convey as professionals who we are, because it literally goes back to that old networking fundamental of people do business with those that they know, like, and trust. Mm-hmm. And I think that your photos is going to be, when they've never met you in person, that's going to be the gateway to making it happen for that person to build that instant rapport and connection. So let's talk about the fact, okay, so I called Crystal and I've had her create beautiful photos of my business and my brand or my product. But now that I have all these photos, I spent good money on them, and I want to use them as many places as possible. Where can I use them? And when should I use them?
Oh, good point. Good point. So when and where? So there are so many different ways, but to kind of just, list off a couple for you to kind of get your mind going. Something as simple as your blog. If you're not blogging, you probably should be blogging. But, blog headers, blog images within the body, because sometimes especially if it's a good lengthy blog, you want to kind of break that up, because again, people are very visual. So give them images that they can relate to throughout the blog. Email marketing, don't use the stock photos again, throw in images of yourself, of your team, use them throughout your email, use them for obviously your social media posts, use them for your website, whether it's your website background, Use them throughout, kind of have them flow through from the front page through to, your About Me section. Maybe they get to meet the team individually. Maybe you have some photos on the services page. Really use those images throughout your entire website to tell the story. I would also, look at things like page headers that can also help you kind of customize your website. Printed flyers, brochures, marketing pamphlets, things like that people, again, typically use those standard generic photos. Use yourself, use your team, use your own stock images there throughout those kinds of things. Trade show banners, business cards, tons of ways. Online workshops, if you do ebooks for your clients, maybe you're a virtual business, you can use images throughout that too. So those are some of those.
Yeah, I would actually also encourage you to use them a lot with your social media. I feel like we make a lot of images all in one for clients all the time with like holidays and promotions, but a big one is being able to use client stock for like facts and quote images and inspirational things. So like let's use your client that works at the coffee shop, for example. If you have a picture of her drinking coffee, you can have like a Monday motivation post like drink your coffee, make it happen sort of a thing. Or if you are a picture of you working or doing something or smiling or relating, you're able to put a quote from yourself or a quote that you find inspiring for them. So they almost also can act as like a base for a photo that can help build your brand credibility, and you can use in different ways, because posting a picture of you smiling with that thumbs up can go on your website or your header, but you can also use that same photo and turn it into an image with like a quoted text or inspirational quote and like a text overlay image, essentially.
Right.
So,
yeah, I think using your photos interchangeably is something that people always forget, because not every single person is going to be hit with every single piece of content all the time. So taking, like you said, and kind of repurposing those images throughout your marketing in different ways is how you can get the most out of your photos and the most, bang for your buck, so to speak, because you've invested the money in getting your photos.
So how often do you think someone or product or brand manager should get their photos done?
For a very active business who is doing the marketing and everything that they should be, I would say anywhere from about every 4 to 6 months, just so that you can keep up with fresh images. Because after a while, they will start getting recycled. You will start seeing them quite a bit. Maybe you're not necessarily changing up your website so much as just for your marketing purposes. Maybe it's just some of the stock type photos and things that you can use. You also want to consider seasons and holidays throughout the year. So, Easter and spring, you're probably not going to be wearing, a long blue sweater. But if it's the holidays in the fall and you maybe want a nice cozy sweater and you've got a coffee mug and that works for that particular time of the year. But, I would say every 4 to 6 months or so. That way you can just kind of stay up with the holidays and the seasons and the fact that we as people change, especially us ladies with our hair and everything else.
Yeah. So with on the subject of what you had just mentioned with like seasonally appropriate clothing, what are some things that people should consider when they're doing their stock photos? Like, what are things that they need to account for? Props, the scene, the weather. Like, what do you think is important to remember when you're going into those photos?
Yeah, so with my clients, I have them actually go through a branding guide that kind of helps them prepare for their photo shoot, and reasons just like this, bringing several outfit changes so you can accommodate. So if you're trying to get the most out of it, especially if you're working off of a budget, because a lot of my clients are, I tell them to use their time to the best that they can and bring some outfits that are going to be short sleeve or things that would work for spring or summer, and then to bring a few long sleeve items or maybe some jackets or cardigans that they can kind of throw on to change up the look, stretch out, those images and how far they're going to go, but also be able to accommodate the seasons. So I do make sure that they prepare for that and bring those things. Again, the props are going to be the same way. So when they decide what they want, maybe for something target the fall or Christmas, that they bring that coffee mug, that maybe they bring in a cute little present gift that they're going to hold up and show off because maybe they're doing a giveaway for their clients or something cute like that. So I make sure that they have it kind of laid out, that you start with the outfits first. Plan, obviously, hair and makeup and things like that. Do they want it to be more casual and kind of throw their hair back a little bit? And then the prop then comes in kind of last. So what's the prop that's going to accommodate that look that you're trying to go for? And then just kind of making sure that they covered all their bases.
Awesome. So tell us about the different kinds of photos that are out there, so people can distinguish between what the different kinds are that are available.
Right. So obviously there's traditional business photos, which you can just be portraits or traditional headshots. And then there are what's become most common and most popular with the industry are those kind of planned lifestyle brand shoots where you're a little more in the element, so to speak, and they're a little more lifestyle, a little more lighthearted. You tend to have opportunity to bring out more personality where you're laughing or things like that. And then there are branded stock photos. And those particular photos can be things like flat lays, or maybe they're a styled stock photo where you've kind of hold the coffee mug, but maybe we cut off part of the face and we're just focused on the coffee mug in your hands, or maybe your hands on the laptop, things like that. Flat lays are obviously a flat image laid out. It can include all kinds of items. So, obviously in your case, more technology type items like an iPad or a phone or things like that. Maybe you throw in some florals because that's part of your brand and you kind of like it. Those kind of things. So flat lays are branded stock photos. And then obviously there's the traditional stock photos, which again, aren't always my favorite, but may be a good temporary solution for a company on a budget.
So one of the things that is important is, and I talk to my clients a lot about this, is the in the moment photos. So we invest a lot of time and money, energy in like lifestyle photo shoots and flat lays and product shots and making our own stock. But what about what everyone talks about is social media, which is like in the moment, like, oh my gosh, we're extracting this kid's tooth right now, or I just had this really great talk with this client who won their case. I'm taking a photo with her and we're thumbs upping outside the courtroom together. Or I just got this person, they just bought their first house and I'm going to take a picture of them outside of their house.
Yeah.
How do you encourage business owners to do that and to be okay with the difference in, I guess, quality?
So it kind of goes back to the part of being authentic and being incorporated in your brand. While people are going to understand that businesses are going to do lifestyle shoots, they're going to have some professional photos done. You want to be authentic, you want to be real, and you want to capture those fun moments that are going to give people an opportunity to relate to you right away. Again, by seeing maybe one of their friends and they come by the doctor's office or doing a quick video testimonial on Instagram or something like that. So I would encourage it. Nowadays, the best part about our cell phones is that they keep constantly improving our video and our photo capabilities. So even if you're not a professional and you don't have a DSLR, you don't even know what that means. You don't have to have any type of equipment whatsoever. Just having a camera, a nice well-lit room, and just snapping a quick photo of yourself with your client, or maybe you're handing them off an agreement. Maybe you're a real estate agent and you just closed the house. You can take a cute photo of the family kind of holding a cute sign out front, that says sold. Things like that are candy. People would love that stuff. They want to see the real, the authentic things. So when it comes to stock photos and those kind of planned lifestyle photos, I say to incorporate them in what you do, but don't forget the real element of stopping and taking those in the moment photos. Because stock photos and things like that are supposed to be more of a filler item for you to be able to kind of insert into your marketing. They're not supposed to be the be all end all of your whole marketing plan.
Mm-hmm. So you said something interesting, and it's my favorite thing, and that was having a plan. Yes. So, how does one have a plan for their photos?
Yes. So I'm the same way. I start with marketing. You've got to know your marketing goals throughout the year and where you're trying to go. So when you plan to do your photos, you can target specifically for those kinds of things. So while you have, the in the moment and kind of fun photos and things like that, those are for the last minute changes. But it's kind of planning ahead and knowing, okay, Christmas is coming up soon. I'm probably going to want to do a special, like, maybe as a photographer, you're going to do, family mini sessions or something like that. And you want to target that family. So you know that you want to have some cute photos of maybe you snapping some images of some cute kids running around outside, or things like that. So, really keeping an eye on your marketing and how well you've planned out your marketing. Did you get together with Desiree and have her help you plan out your content for the next couple of months and what you're going to be working on? So that way you can kind of stop and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to be targeting families, so I'm going to need some photos of me doing that. I'm going to also do a giveaway. So maybe I want some photos of me getting really excited and having fun, or maybe throwing confetti and something in the air to kind of show a celebration kind of thing. So again, it kind of goes back to planning your marketing, making sure you know what you're trying to go, where you're trying to go, so you know how you can get there and what kind of images you're going to need when you do.
Awesome. Do you have any other last minute tips for telling your story through photos for our listeners?
Yeah, don't be afraid to use your phone. Again, not everyone wants to hire a professional. Heck, it's not always in the budget and it can be expensive. So get out your phone, try to do some stock photos on your own, try to do some flat lays and stuff on your own, some things that you can throw into your social media. Don't forget those last minute, in the moment type photos to help your audience really connect with you.
Awesome. All right.
Don't forget to
Don't forget to what?
Don't forget to plan.
Yes, plan. Plan.
Right.
Well, as always, I love getting to talk with you, Crystal, and I hope that our listeners are able to learn as much from you today as I have been able to. How can people connect with you?
So there's several ways people can connect with me. I have an Instagram. So my Instagram profile is at Crystal Clear Photography AZ. So you can find me on Instagram. You can also find me on Facebook at Crystal Clear Photos 15. That's Crystal Clear Photos 15. And you can go ahead, go look me up. My website is crystalclearphotographyaz.com. You feel free to reach out to me if you've got any questions or if I can be of any help.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again for being on the show. We hope that everyone has learned a lot about how they can tell their story better through their photos. Remember, don't be afraid of that camera. And until next time, I'll see you soon.
Thanks.